Hi, I'm Captain Larry Bell with Texas Fishing Tips, and this is your weekly fishing report.
Let's see here. All up in Live Oak, False Live Oak area around the rocks that they've put in up in this area here. Continue to work all this area around here. Take your time, get on your trolling motor, get out and weight it, whatever you'd like to do. If you're going to weight it, it's a little slick in some spots, a little soft, but there's a little bit of grass working around this area. There's some decent sized trout that are working around this area here, but if you're continuing to practice the catch and release on trout this year, please continue to do that. We greatly appreciate that for all that will want to participate with that. Really go a long way in helping our estuaries recover from the February freeze. But that said, just continue to work this area here. Throwing your marker 54 hard shrimp, the jerk shrimp there has been really good all around this area here. Just bouncing it or working underneath a popping cork, either one. Continue on around here up into San Antonio Bay around the backside of Mustang Lake on this shoreline. You can find little patches of grass that are working up and down this shoreline the further you go back in toward Ostwell, back in that way. Just take your time with it. You'll continue to work your darker down south, the regular model, the little bit smaller version, especially coming on the backside of a full moon, has been a good choice as well. But continue to work your marker 54 jerk shrimp. The soft dine has been okay, and the regular size down south lure has done really well.
All right, down here on Panther Point, get inside of Panther Lake. There's a decent amount of fish that are working all in this area here. There's some decent, the lower slot size in that 21 to 23 range. Good amount of bait that's working back in here. The marker 54 jerk shrimp, the regular size down south lure, darker version have been the best that's in this area here that has been most successful for me. Just continue to work these areas here. Get out in the middle, whatever you're able to wade. Depending on our tides, our tides have come back and they're fluctuating pretty good with this big moon that's pushing and pulling a lot of water in and out of here. Continue to work that area there, and then continue to work all the way down this shoreline, all the way down towards Cedar. You'll pick up some decent redfish that are up and down this shoreline that are working in these little gaps here that go into these little back lakes. The mouths of those have been really productive. All the way down into Cedar Lake as well, throwing your topwater back in there. If they won't commit to that topwater bait, then throw a double D at them, throw a wake back at them. They will continue to push at it and wake at it, and then once you get it down in their face, they're probably going to eat it. Incorporate you a major or minor during your fishing day in this area here, and you'll find some decent redfish. On this shoreline right here on Dunham, from the point all the way up to this point here, just off the deeper edge of the old ICW that ran through there around this corner into the mud. Work all this area here. If you want to get off into that deeper mud around the big shell bars that are up around that, you can as well. There's been some decent redfish that have been working in this area off and on. The main thing there is your bait. Obviously, if you ain't got your bait working there, don't spend any time on it. You're not going to find any fish. But if you got a decent amount of bait fish that are working in here, and there's been more of it showing up, more of your mullet are starting to pop in, which is a good thing for this estuary up here, because it really needs it. The fishing up here has been difficult, but there are fish that are here. You really have to be patient all along this shoreline. There's some nice scattered shells, some good soft bottoms here and there. Your redfish are working tight when that tide is up. Work the shorelines really well, especially if you got bait that's busting up in that area there. The topwater bait's not been bad, but your darker down south, again, your jerk shrimp, marker 54, either free-lined or under popping cork if you wish to, have been pretty productive in this area here. You'll find some decent redfish again. Just continue to work it and be patient with it. Over here in the Paul's Mott area, all the way up here to the point, this little shell bar that runs all the way out around to here. A little bit deeper water. Again, you have to pay attention to your incoming and outgoing tides. We've had a little bit more water pushed in here because of the big moon that we've had. So really pay attention to your tides, but this is all nice, hard, weightable bottom that's out here. There's some deeper grass that you can get to if your tides are correct, that you can work that. There's been some decent trout that's been working out there over that are a lot of fun to catch and release those. But up closer to your shoreline, these back lake mouths that are back in here, again, your redfish are working off these deeper edges back over this mud, back in these back lake mouths. The darker down south, back here I've thrown a soft dine, the regular size or the smaller size, and it's done pretty well. I've caught a few fish on it, but the darker version of the down south lure and the regular size, and again the jerk shrimp it's been productive. The shrimp's starting to show up out here in our systems, so it kind of makes sense that these fish are eating these. So just, if you don't have one, pick you one up, and you'll think you'll be pleasantly surprised with the production level that it produces for you. You can come around this point here at the Mott and continue work down in Long Reef Bend. There's a good amount of grass is starting to show up in here, and there's some fish that are cruising over the top of that. There's some good slot redfish that are in here. Down south, topwater bait up close to the shoreline has been good, and then your jerk shrimp as well. All back in here in Nukem Bend, from the point all the way down in the little corner down here in the little cove, all the way down the back shoreline down here. It's all great, wadeable, good bottom. There's been some redfish that have showed up in this area here. Closer to the shell has been a little bit more productive. Topwater baits have been okay. The Double D has been really good. The darker down south regular version has been really good, and the jerk shrimp has been really good. One thing that you will have to keep in mind during the week, if you're able to fish, you still got the oyster boats that are out here in Copano, so they're really dirtying up the system. But you can get protection back here in Nukem Bend, and it won't be quite as bad. But just keep that in mind. They still haven't shut down the oyster season just yet, so you're still having to contend with those during the week. But on the weekends, they can't work, so you get a little bit more freedom with the system not being dirtied up as bad. But look for your bait back in this area here, waiting for the grass to show back up. There is some, but again, your structure is going to be these little back lake drains and mouths and around the shell. You can find some redfish that are cruising back in here. Not overly big. They're in that 21, 22, 23 inch range. But you'll have to work for them. They're not just going to stand there and wait on you, but work it, be patient, and you'll find the fish that you're trying to locate, especially back in this area here. Thanks for watching. I'm Captain Larry Bell.